is very important for them, because it will naturally improve the quality of their studies, and also it will lead them to live a healthier life and make healthier life choices.
Namaste and welcome to the 53rd episode of UPSC Prep Decoded, a podcast brought to you by Abhyankar's IAS so that you can study on the go. I, Khushi Bola, am your host for today, and we're in conversation with Sneha Bhat. Sneha, a Shubh Chhatrapati awardee, has done her master's with a specialization in sports psychology. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, our topic today revolves around linking physical health and mental health, basically where we left off in our last podcast.
Yeah.
But before taking a deep dive into the conversation, could you please define what mental health is?
Yeah. So, to explain in simple terms, mental well-being can be defined as the psychological, emotional, and social well-being of an individual. It helps an individual to think, act, and feel. It can be said that it helps an individual to make healthier life choices.
Right. Ma'am, in the last podcast, you had mentioned how physical development is aiding cognitive development. Could you just expand a little more on this concept?
Yeah. So, a few articles that have done research with college-going students have shown that 30 minutes of daily physical activity assisted them with improving their retention. So, basically, it helped them with their cognitive development.
Okay.
And you can say that physically fit individual will is naturally inclined to make healthier life choices. That is eating better, sleeping well, and focusing more.
When we are speaking about sleeping well, can you elaborate about the interlinkage when it comes to sleeping well and nutrition, and also how you were earlier mentioning that micronutrients play a part? So how important of a part, and how can you just expand a little on that?
Yeah, sure. So I'd say that nutrition is the most important aspect for an individual. So nutrition, if you compare nutrition and exercise, nutrition contributes to about 70% of it.
Right.
So and when it comes to micronutrients, so micronutrients like vitamin B12, vitamin D3, and vitamin A. So if there's a deficiency, it can lead to an individual sleeping excessively.
All right. And ma'am, when it comes to UPSC aspirants, with regards to the same, what would your advice be?
Yeah, so before that, I'd like to address, apart from the micronutrients, macronutrients also play an important role in it. So, for example, the intake of protein is very important for any individual, not only an UPSC aspirant. So, and the maximum amount of recovery actually happens when you're sleeping.
Okay.
So, protein is a very important source that helps in the recovery, and it also, you can also say that it assists an individual to sleep better. And to address your question, so UPSC aspirants, at least UPSC aspirants need a minimum of 7 hours of sleep, and they can do one precaution that they can take is avoid using any form of screen for 45 minutes before going to sleep, because what happens is our brain is active for a very long time, even after if you use the screen immediately before you go to sleep. Apart from the screen time that I mentioned earlier, maintaining a balance of the macronutrients and micronutrients. So macronutrients are basically protein, carbohydrates and fats, and the micronutrients is very important for them, because it will naturally improve the quality of their studies, and also it will lead them to live a healthier life and make healthier life choices.
Right now. And since our topic today is revolving around physical well-being and mental well-being linked, I don't think we can not talk about telemental health centers. So with regards to that, what is your take on what kind of role will they play?
Yeah, sure. So the government announced in the budget for the year 22-23 of setting up of 23 telemental health stations. So I'd say that one of the main aims of this is to address the taboo for mental health and counseling. Post the pandemic, so it was seen that there was, in India specifically, there was a rise in cases of anxiety and depression. It was about 35%. So I think this is a very good initiative by the government to address the importance of mental health and counseling.
And my concluding question to you, ma'am, would be, how do you see Fit India movement playing a role with the same regards?
Yeah, sure. So the Fit India movement can be said that it is an initiative to change the mindset of the people from a generalized point of view to a more holistic point of view. So it's basically building a connection between the physical and the mental health of an individual, which is also important for an UPSC aspirant. And as I mentioned in the earlier podcast, that a physically fit individual will lead to a mentally fit individual and vice versa.
And thank you so much, ma'am. That brings us to the end of our conversation today. Lots to take back from. Thank you so much for removing time for us.
Thank you so much for having me.
If you like this video, do like, share and subscribe. Your feedbacks and suggestions are always welcome. You can comment them down below or contact us through info@abhyankarias.com. Show us some love on our Instagram, Twitter and Facebook handles that go by the name Abhyankars IAS. Keep listening and stay tuned for more.